All right. Thanks for stopping by. So I'm tinkering. Here's my thought plan here. I have moved my battery bank back further under the bed so it's flush with the door jamb now. So that leaves me 24 inches from here to here to put in like a vanity and a sink and put my water jugs underneath. I'll have to block up this area here, just with some 2x4s or whatever to fill that area in to make it flat so the water jugs would sit there. Get some L brackets, bracket it down. The only issue I'm running into is what am I going to do with buddy heater? Where am I going to put it when this is done? I may just have to have it freestanding when I'm using it. I don't know yet. It's another issue. It's one thing or another. But I can tell you this, it's fun just figuring it out, tinkering. This is how I'm spending the day. Okay, scratch everything I just said. I'm not going to go buy a vanity and a sink. I'm going to do this on a rough-in prototype and see if I can do this with stuff I already have. All right, come on in. Let's button up the screen door. Let me show you what's changed. I have made a prototype sink and gray water tank and water dispenser with a tabletop over the sink. Flips up out of the way. It just flips down for extra tabletop space when I need it. I've also got a cutout where I can actually run the water with the tabletop down. So let me show you the features here. So I've got my fresh water is that narrow rectangular gray colored tank, and my gray tank is the blue one. I've got it buttoned down with a little tab here. I've got a funnel connected under my basin that fits in real tight into the inlet port of the blue tank, which holds the gray water. And this video is going to be all spliced up. Bear with me. It was made over 2 different days. And at the end of the video, I'll show you what I settled on. And I'll show you the new countertop space where I removed one of the 3-drawer cabinets and put down some new peel and stick countertop on it where I can actually have a place to cook. But while this is going, I just wanted to show you the scenes of the new sink setup. Here is a zoomed out version. I know it's blurry when I do this, but I'm trying to give you a better perspective of how everything looks on a wide angle. Notice that the tabletop is not completely flat. I fixed that later in the video. There's a shot of the water running. I had to voice over everything because of the wind noise. And I want to talk more about the wind noise while this is just going, giving you some shots here. The wind is up to 50 mile per hour gusts. So my tent did not make it. It stood up to the 45 mile an hour gusts, but it did not make it through the 50 because it ripped the grommet off the bottom. So I'm stitching that back up as we speak. Here's some scenes of the new countertop. I think you've seen it this way several months ago, and then I changed it back to more storage. I decided to consolidate some things because I really wanted countertop. And there's my little slide out table for my mug. This is so much better. More countertop space, the better. Now back to the sink thing. This is just as simple as you can get it. If you just need to get up and running with some running water and somewhere to put your gray water, this is it. The basin just hooks over 2 screws on the side door. The other side of the basin sits on top of the blue water reservoir, the gray tank, the gray water tank. The table is held up with a magnet against the door. Fold it down, and the weight of the table holds the basin on top of the blue tank that holds the gray water, so it makes a nice tight seal so it won't leak out. And the dispenser can be moved up and down because it's just held on with Velcro. So if I need to put a large pot underneath, I could still run the water with the table down, and that was a big issue for me. I wanted to make sure I could do that without having to lift the table up, just in case I had something sitting on the table and I still needed to run the water. So I wanted as many options as I could get out of this. And of course, I'm still tweaking it, but so far this is as functional as I could have ever imagined. One thing I have to do is reach underneath here and make sure the slack is taken out of the hose when I position the dispenser to the downward position. But I cut the hole in the top of the tank lid so the hose is not too tight. So it does slide in and out pretty easy, and it still doesn't leak. Here's another panorama of the new countertop space. Here's another shot of me still tweaking the water so it'll run through the tabletop. At first I thought maybe I had cut the notch out of the table too big, but no, I think that's the perfect size there. I can still get a mug under it to fill up with water if I need to. All right, so here we're coming up to the last segment. This is what I ended up with. I put the sink on a slight incline where it angles downward toward the drain hole because I noticed the sink was pooling water. Here's a zoom out view so you'll see how everything looks. Table still flips up, still sticks against the door with a magnet, but look at the sink. It's angled to the right. See there? So the water drains out quickly and it doesn't pool anymore. But the table itself is still level because I added a spacer between the bottom of the table and the top rim of the basin. The buddy heater is going to be mounted here. Here's the problem I'm having with that, though. It faces right against the fridge. So I'm going to have to put the buddy heater back on a swivel again, like I used to have it, so I can swivel it out toward me when I'm actually using it, so it's just not blasting heat against the side of the refrigerator. And even though I have Reflectix on the side of the refrigerator, I still just don't want heat blasting right against it. So that's the last thing I'll have to do is just put the heater back on a swivel. But this is the setup. You know, I can still reach underneath. That Clorox cleanup tank there is doing nothing. It's just sitting there. There's a board between the two tanks that keep the space, and I have L brackets on the floor to keep the blue tank from moving around. But it's a good tight fit. Really pleased with how it turned out, even though it's just so rigged up, but it is functional. Take care, be well, and smash the bell.